got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's the guy that says if the weather's clear, can do.
Welcome back to my channel on Vegas Stories. I put these stories together for these videos over my 45 plus years here in the city of Las Vegas. My background is primarily in the horse race business. I work for 2 licensed Nevada horse race disseminators providing horse race information to the race books, obviously from the racetracks. Okay. I also have some involvement with the gaming sports tabloid. I was a columnist. I basically did a little bit of college football handicapping. So back in the day, I was a writer, and also I basically worked for the Sports Forum newspaper, and so I had a lot of bit of sports and sports betting stories to wrap up with that. Now, I deviate because I've been here a long time. So I deviate with the stories. I tell you a little bit of this, a little bit of that, because, I got to cover all the time. I've been here. That's kind of where I'm going with this particular story, because it really doesn't relate in some situations to the disseminators, although I think you'll see the synergy here, okay? So let me just continue with that scenario. Okay, push that off to the side. Let's get to the beer of the day. As everybody's aware from my previous videos, I'm looking for high alcohol content because at my age, I'm looking for the buzz without the bloat. I don't need to drink a lot of beer. And the beers I'm used to in America, Jesus Christ, you got to drink a lot of freaking beers to get a buzz, because the alcohol is pretty low. So what I've been doing, I stayed away from the craft beers. In fact, I did a couple of the videos where I thought they were freaking international beers, and I mentioned the craft beers. So I did some shit with the craft beers. I didn't even know it because it had Belgian ale, but it had new Belgian ale. So I fucking misled. I was misled. I thought it was a freaking international beer. I got all excited. High alcohol content. So I got drunk too. So what the hell? I did the videos, and all you people understand. If you know the freaking beer, you kind of understood it, the situation. This wasn't an international beer. But you know what? If you have enough of them, you think it is. And that's what's really important, okay? So push that aside, because I'm going to tell you something. The international beer I'm dealing with at the time, right now, we're talking about a beer from the country of Germany. I've been spending a ton of time in the country of Belgium with all those high alcohol content beers. I finally went to the country of Germany like I did before, and I found something that's pretty nice. I think you're going to like this thing. Now, once again, I'm going to tell you something. In my estimation of where these beers are, King Daddy, 10% or higher. Anything that's 10% or higher, I consider King Daddy, because you know why? You're going to get the buzz without the bloat. That's what the nature of this whole scenario is, the buzz without the bloat. And I'm going to tell you something. King Daddies in my league, they do the trick with one bottle. Okay, this is not a King Daddy from the country of Germany, okay? It's a Munich beer. We did this before. This is an Optimator. I didn't open it yet. I already had 2 Belgian beers, so I can't do this right now. This is going to be like my nightcap type of situation, okay? Optimator, 7.6%. Not a King Daddy, as I explained it to you, but still very high in the alcohol content. You should enjoy it, okay? But once again, go easy with this stuff, okay? Don't stop pumping these puppies down, because I'm going to tell you something. You're going to pay a price. You don't get the buzz after one, have a second one. But I'm going to tell you, if you start doing more than 2, you're not a good beer drinker, you're going to feel this shit. You're going to need some help. And it ain't help just driving. You might need help walking. I mean, this stuff will put you down after a while. Okay? So enjoy this particular beer. Take a little sip of it. See what you think of it. I think you're going to really like this particular kind. Okay? It's a German beer once again. Let's push it off. Let's get to my story of the day. Now, what I'm going to talk about in this particular, I'm going to talk about my wedding. I mean, back in the day, I was here in Las Vegas. Now, understand, I've been married 3 times, okay? This is my 3rd wedding. But it was a little different than the first 2, because the first 2 were kind of like, I don't know, I'm just going to tell you. The first 2 were a little different. This one's a different wedding, okay? Las Vegas, great wedding, incredible type of situation. But because we were back in the day, back in the late 80s, and I had already changed from the Sports Forum Winco Dissemination Company, went all the way over to Las Vegas Dissemination Company. I mean, I told you enough of videos, so I have to tell you, I got sued. I mean, I got sued. The company got sued. I mean, it was just a lawsuit from the other guy, Chucky D. Chucky DeRocco decided to sue us all because, I mean, the bottom line, I was a key executive at that company. You know, so the thing is that, yeah, he was trying to protect everything. It kind of caused me a little misery at the time. But the thing is, it was kind of interesting because we were going through litigation in the late 80s. And at the same time, I met somebody. I fell in love with the girl. And needless to say, I was going to get married to her. So I figured, let's get married. It's a good time, right? Well, plus the fact that she was pregnant, but we won't get into that. She was pregnant, and, you know, I mean, what the fuck am I going to tell you? I mean, you know, I married her. I mean, I had no other choice, right? So the point is that, well, she's a great girl. I've been married 35 years to this girl. I love this girl. I mean, but the thing is that I had to get married at the time in the middle of litigation. Wasn't pretty because, you know, I was being followed around by, you know, private inspectors and all this kind of shit, investigators, all, you know, checking my shit and all this crap. So needless to say, I was having a lot of frustration at that time because everybody's following me around, taking pictures of what the fuck I'm doing and that kind of scenario. So, I mean, the thing is that we knew this was going to be a tense situation, wasn't going to be an easy situation. So let me go over a couple of situations that you're going to find very fascinating that happened during my situation at that time, which was the marriage. Okay, so we were about to get married, and the thing about it, which was really funny, is that we were going to have a wedding rehearsal dinner. Everybody has a wedding rehearsal dinner, right? You know what I'm saying? We go to the church, you rehearse a little bit. Next thing you know, you go have something to eat. Wonderful thing, right? So I'm going to tell you something that happened, okay? So I decided to have my wedding rehearsal dinner at a local Italian restaurant. Not going to mention the name, because I'm still protesting, okay? So I'm not going to mention the name. You can figure it out probably. I don't know if you can or not. It's not important. It's important to me. The point is that I got a little bit of a ram job on this kind of situation, okay? Because I called a guy and I basically reserved a reservation for 20 people at the time. You know, it was a rehearsal dinner. All right, I'm all excited about the situation because we're going to go to a nice Italian restaurant, nice Italian food the day before I get married to my next wife, which was just incredible. But I'm going to tell you what happened. On the Wednesday before the Friday, because I'm going to get married on a Saturday, okay? So the rehearsal dinner's on a Friday night. So what I decided to do, because I'm a little paranoid on this shit, because I'm getting sued by this guy, Chucky D, you know what I mean? He's mad at me. I was working for him for a long time. I was fucking really close to him and all this situation. It causing me a little frustration, needless to say. So the thing is that I figured, let me call the restaurant. I got to make sure that the reservation's all set. So I get a hold of the phone. I call the restaurant. This ain't like cell phone time. It's landline shit. So I call the restaurant. I ask the guy, you know, I basically get on the phone. I talk. So who gets on the phone but the guy's wife gets on the phone? And I said, oh, I'm just checking. Bob Moretti here. I'm just checking. Everything all set for Friday night party at 20. Gonna come over there, make sure everything's all set. And, you know, next thing I know, the lady looked at me and she basically told me on the phone, she said, you know what? I don't think the guy had enough heart to tell you, but the room is booked. So what the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? So the room is booked. You got no room for your party. I said, what the fuck does that mean? He said, well, I don't know how to tell you, but your boy Chucky D, he booked the room. Really? He booked the room? What am I going to do? Well, there's no room for you. I said, no kidding. So in other words, if I showed up on the Friday night with 20 people, what are you going to tell me? No room. Wow, that's rich. So next thing I know, I got a little bit of an issue with this situation because what the fuck is this? I book a party. My ex-boss, who happens to follow the litigation, he books the fucking room and he tells the guy, don't let him know that I'm coming with the 20 people. So what are you going to shove it up my ass when I walk in the door and say, guess what? The fucking room is booked and you can't eat here? Wow, that's a rich thing, okay? So the thing is I got a little bit upset with this. So, you know, rightfully, right? I got a little upset. I mean, I had this thing all booked. Next thing you know, I don't have anything, okay? So the room is all booked up. I can't go to the restaurant. So what do I need to do? I need to make alternative reservations. And I called a nice place. It ain't there anymore. Called the Venetian. It's located on Sahara, owned by the infamous Larry Ruvo. Now understand, Mr. Ruvo is a who's who in Nevada. Southern Wine and Spirits. This guy is the king of this situation. I mean, he's the man. So I had a nice reservation set up, go to the rehearsal. I have a little bit of conversation with the guy. You know, it's my wife's church. I mean, you know, My wife has got a church, Disciples of Christ, show up. I'm having a little conversation in the rehearsal. Next thing you know, the guy's trying to get me to repeat. I said, no, we're not doing this. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, I'm not repeating anything, okay? Just ask me the fucking questions. I'll tell you if I do or not. You know, I mean, don't have me repeat. I've already been through this freaking mess a couple of times, okay? It ain't working, all right? The vowels do not work. Do not ask me to repeat. Just ask me the question. I'll tell you I do, and then we'll go from there. And that's what I wanted to basically tell him. I didn't want to get into this litany of shit that I got to remember everything about this vowel. So I'm not doing that crap anymore. I did it twice. That's done. I'm done with that stuff. So needless to say, we had a little bit of a discussion. I mean, he was a nice guy. He was a wonderful man. Old. But, you know, he understood what was going on. So we had this little scenario type of situation. You know, next thing you know, we're going to have the wedding. So everything was hunky-dory with the fucking goddamn, with the dinner that we had for the rehearsal. Everything was phenomenal. We had a great time at the Venetian. It was a great party. Everybody got drunk. Everybody had a great time. It was a wonderful thing. So I really didn't get too pissed off on that situation. Well, I was a little weird at the situation. I kind of put that restaurant on the ban. People are still asking me today, 30-something years later, are you ever going to eat at the restaurant? Fuck no, I'm not going to eat at that restaurant. What are you going to go to the restaurant for? Why would I go to that restaurant? He threw me out, for God's sakes. I mean, come on, give me a break, you know? So the thing is that we kind of like went along. Next thing you know, I got to go to the wedding. Now, let me tell you something. I automatically knew from this scenario, okay, I knew that this guy, my boy Chucky, was capable of having me served with the litigation, another litigation, why I was giving my freaking wedding. I was at my wedding. I was a little bit concerned with the church. So what did I do? I had a lot of lawyers that came to the wedding. So I told these guys, you know, at the time, I said, you got to do me a little favor. They said, what's that? I said, you got to stand outside the church. Don't let anybody come in once the service starts. Once the service starts, make sure nobody comes in the fucking church, okay? Because I don't want to get served while I'm in the middle of this kind of thing, okay? I don't want to be served with a litigation in the middle of a freaking mass, okay, by somebody who's going to tell me that, yeah, guess what? You got sued by your boy Chuck. I don't need that kind of shit. So the thing is, I had little lawyers outside of every single door. Well, they held a few people back because they questioned them. I don't know, a couple of the guys that I had, I think they were like interested because a couple of people tried to come in. They were good-looking girls. I mean, at the time, I don't know. They told me they couldn't go in because they didn't know what they were doing there. They were late, all that kind of stuff. So they actually prevented a couple of people from walking into the mess, which I thought was a little unusual, but you know what? I didn't get served at the wedding. It was a wonderful thing. Now, I'm going to tell you something. The guy that I had, who was the reverend at the time, okay, he basically started the whole conversation. He looked at me in the middle of the mass and all this kind of crap, and he looked at me. He goes, okay, repeat after me. I said, I'm not doing that. You know, everybody in the church heard it. I'm not doing that. I'm not repeating that. And he goes, oh, yeah, okay, all right, say it. So eventually he said the vowels, and I said, yeah, I do, I will, whatever the fuck it was. But the point is, you know, this guy, he spaced out on me. I mean, shit, I knew he was old, but I didn't think he would fuck up like that, but he did, okay? I felt bad for him because I knew he was old. You know, I still embraced the guy after the wedding. I mean, what are you going to do? You got to hug the guy. I mean, he was pretty old, but, you know, a little spastic on the situation, so I had a little problem with that. So be that as it may, we got past that scenario, and all of a sudden now we're going to go, well, we're going to have a reception, right? So we had a couple of receptions. One reception went off really good because it was at the Barbary Coast, and we ended up having a great reception for the upper echelon type of situation. But for a lot of the people that we knew, we're going to have a little private reception or at the house. Now, what happened was I called the caterer, and I basically ordered a whole bunch of shit from the caterer, okay? Now, I was going to take care of the booze. I was going to take care of the soft drinks and all that kind of shit. But this guy's bringing all the food and kind of stuff. So everything was going to be nice and easy. I was going to get this situation done by these good people that were doing the catering. So, I mean, you can understand. I mean, after everything that's transpired, you know, did I get a little fucking, you know, was I a little bit, you know, paranoid that maybe something was going to happen in the particular situation with the reception at the house? So what happened was really funny is that the reception started like at 5 o'clock on the particular day that we had to go. So about 4:30, I thought I should call the guy, make sure everything's all right. My wife kind of looked at me at the time. You know, we were already married, right? She's already married. She looked at me, well, you're paranoid. I said, well, I just want to check, make sure it's okay. So next thing you know, I called the caterer up and I says, hey, what's going on? It's like a half an hour before. Were you coming over or what? So the guy got back on the phone. He goes, oh, fuck. He goes, I spaced it. Fuck, you spaced it? You spaced the reception? What does that mean? He said there was a guy here who was a caterer, and, he committed suicide. Next thing you know, we got all this fucking business, and we fucked up on you. I said, oh, that's nice. Really? You fucked up on me? What about everybody else? Well, he says, we just, look, I can have the stuff over to you by 6 o'clock. Party's at 5. What am I going to do for an hour? Right? Yeah. You can't make people drink for an hour and they can't eat. You can't do that kind of shit. So I told the guy on the phone, I said, look, I don't know what the fuck is your problem, but if you bring that food over, I'm going to throw it in the fucking middle of the street. Because I'm telling you right now, you pissed the shit out of me. You fucked up my party. Now I got to go figure this out. So here's the scenario I have. I got a party. I got the booze. I got the soft drinks. There's no fucking food. So I got to do something real quick. I only got 30 minutes because people are starting the show. What do? I call Pizza Hut. You got to call Pizza Hut. You got to call the distribution. So I called Pizza Hut. I got on the phone with the guy. I asked the guy. I said, by the way, I need 15 pieces. He said, we can have it over there in about an hour and a half. I said, ain't no fucking good. I need it in 30 minutes. He said, how are we going to do that? I said, I don't know. You got 15 pizzas waiting to be delivered? He said, well, there's a lot here. I said, well, I'll tell you what. Here's what I'm going to do, okay? You come there with the 15 fucking pizzas. I'll give you an extra $100 for a fucking tip. You know where I'm going with this? So the guy said, really? Give me $100? I said, yeah, let everybody else fucking wait. I got a big problem over here. You got to bring those fucking pizzas here right now. And you'll get an extra tip on that situation. Yeah, he kind of got excited. Needless to say, he was going to do that. That's a wonderful thing. Took care of that. Next thing I know, go to the market. I go get a couple of cake. What are you going to have? You got to have some cake, right? You got to have cake. You got to have cake at your wedding, right? So I got a couple of sheet cakes. And the guy in the back, he didn't know how to spell Bonnie because Bonnie's B-O-N-I. You don't want to fuck around with that shit because it's not your typical Bonnie spelling. So I told her, just put him and her. You know what I mean? Jesus, just put the fucking him and her on there. We'll eat the sheet cakes. Who gives a shit? So needless to say, the guy did a good job. He even put it in different colors. It was really nice. It was kind of like a piece of art. He did his and her. Next thing you know, I got 2 sheet cakes, got 15 pizzas from Pizza Hut, got all the booze, everything. Party was a fucking success. Had a great time. Everything was wonderful. So the thing about it is that you have to kind of adapt to the scenario as it happens. You can't sit back and basically cry the blues. You got to do something about this situation. And I did it, made it happen. It was successful. It was a wonderful thing. Everybody had a good time. I didn't use the caterer anymore. Needless to say to do that, So the point is that it was a really good scenario that we got through and we figured out how to handle it. So once again, if you like this story, okay, hit the like button. All right, that'll do me a great favor. Hit the like button. And then the other thing is if you want to subscribe, it's a great thing, subscribe, because I'm working like a bastard trying to subscribe. The other day I was talking to my wife, and we had a conversation, and we was trying to we're talking about different kinds of stuff. And I asked her really a simple situation. I said, you got some contacts, right? Because I got contacts, I think I got 8. I got 8 friends, maybe 9. I don't know, but next thing I know, I went to my wife. I said, can you go through your contacts? I went through her contacts. It took fucking 45 minutes. My wife knows the world. I said, Jesus Christ, you can send out messages to everybody. So I'm working on this situation. It ain't going to be easy because this is I got to kind of coerce her into doing this situation. The Vegas stories, Bob and Ray kind of shit. Not an easy scenario here because, she doesn't like being a pain in the ass. But I'm trying to get her because she's got a fucking ton of friends. Jesus Christ, there's so many people she knows. I don't know anybody. Thank God I got a dog. But the point is, it's really hard trying to build a subscription list up when you don't know anybody. So I'm walking around, I'm trying really hard at this crap. So once again, if you like it, hit the like, subscribe, make my job a lot easier, okay? I don't have to beat up my wife half of the time trying to get all her freaking contacts. So come back, I'll give you another story.
I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's the guy that says if the weather's clear, can do